Dear Venerable Sisters and Brothers, Dhamma friends, today also we are going to start the question and answer session. As usual, we'll start with the written questions. We'll invite Lakshmi to present the written questions and start the session. Please.
Thank you, Venerable Sir. There are 7 questions for today. Gauravaniya Swamin Vahansa. Today when I was doing walking meditation, I noted that I was walking by the movement of my leg joints and seeing trees behind the walking path get closer. I felt grains of sand as I kept each sole in front and also heard the sound it made on wet sand. My walking meditation included observing few thoughts. The thought of helping others was persistent. When I sat down to meditate, I was able to observe cool in-breath inside nostrils and warmer out-breath at first. The out-breath that was faint before was better felt today on the skin above the upper lip. Then my mind started wandering. While meditating during past 5 days, I was thinking on my own, relatively lesser. That is, before my mind wandered on abstract, nonsensical thoughts and went with sounds and pains. But today my mind was thinking on its own. I went home, organized clothes, thought of involving family members to meditate. Even today morning, I woke up with a dream involving family. The dream itself was a drama. It was ironical, as I usually don't dream. And yesterday, I even meditated on bed before sleeping. Even during lunch today, I was thinking how foolish my mind has been, and Bhante saying about relaxation and tension as a cycle, that I lost mindfulness again. There is a persistent thought of helping others, including family. It's a good deed and makes me feel good. I think ego is involved in me being able to help. I also know the disappointment it entails if they don't want to be helped. I observed what Bhante mentioned as compassion being a reason to miss the bus within me today, but don't know how to overcome the helping thought. Please advise. Thank you. Buddhu Saranai.
So this is a very dramatic part in the meditation where you see your foolishness, you see the inert nature of your thinking, you see the daydreaming and fantasizing to boost your ego trip. So everything happening now. So don't rush, because it's a very completely topsy-turvy rhythm to your rational thinking. But in the meditation a proposal comes, what about the otherwise? And it must happen in the gradual way. Don't rush. If it is so, the mind cannot accommodate it. So that is why whenever you try to see the other side or other way around, you are just accommodated. Don't try to be smart. And the Buddha mentioned, whenever you leave the two extremes, when you come to the center, when you come to the equanimity, when you come to the grey area, you understand your foolishness. The center of the seesaw is resting on the foolishness. So you can see it is pivoting. And whenever you see the foolishness, don't rush. Because foolishness is resting upon the wisdom. They are very close. Understanding my foolishness is my wisdom. So you have to be very innocent, very straightforward, but it is very irritating, it's self-negating. But no one is doing for you. It is within your system, so you can accommodate little. So don't rush. Slowly let it happen. And there you can see, this is the way of living. Otherwise you are showing. Otherwise you are in a role play. This is not a role play. This you understand, your real image, or still partial, in front of a life-size mirror. You can see. So there may be lot of perversions to teach others and regret about the past and to consult psychiatrists and go to doctors and all the kind of thing. It is natural. It is natural, have the faith. Don't let this entertaining of doubts to take you for a ride. Then only you become independent. Otherwise you are a slave. Utterly you are carried away by others' opinion and this and that, book knowledge and everything. But this is direct understanding. Let it happen slowly. So it is somebody becoming nobody. So you are on the way. So please don't disturb your timetable. Don't disturb your feeding habit. Don't disturb your bathing habit. Don't disturb your sleeping habit. Just let it happen. And practice regularly. slowly, the Dhamma will reveal.
Dear Venerable Sir, Theruvan Saranai, autopiloting Dhamma. Kindly elaborate how above in application in understanding. We, when meditating, sit in our usual posture and keep a watch on the inhale-exhale continuously to observe the changes, etc. Our concentration develops at each and every breath. It is usual to observe the patterns and changes of the inhale and exhale from the best point of one's sensation ability. My watch point is at the tip of my nostril above the upper lip. However, when the breath becomes calmer and calmer, the mindfulness makes a big effort to keep a track of it. Some occasions our body gets so calmer, unknowingly our breath takes place from our mouth and the feelings change from the tip of the nose to the tip of the lips automatically, and due to vigilance it can be still noted. Can this automatic observation be treated as autopiloting? Is other Dhamma factors come into enlightenment on this basis? Practically, autopiloting to cause, we have to first determine the destination and the route beforehand, and whereby a chart is plotted on the path, and keep a vigilance of its course. If this scenario is taken to mean we have to have a proper knowledge of our destination route path of Dhamma to make it able to autopilot, may you be blessed with the triple gem.
Yeah, the term autopiloting has two different Western interpretation and the Eastern interpretation. If I am to explain my context, whenever you do meditate, that means you are regimenting. Let the meditation to take place without regimenting, that I call autopiloting. In other words, don't do forced breathing, just let the breathing to take place. At the beginning you have to use noting, labeling and diverting of the mind to the object, and once the mind and the observed object and the observing mind become familiarized, no effort, just mind naturally go to the object. That's also I call a mode of autopiloting. In walking meditation, as far as you put forth effort, it is not up to autopiloting. Just let the body to walk, effortless walking. Then it is called autopiloting. When you brushing your teeth, just observe the mirror and see how the body is doing it. Give a plate of rice or food. You see how the body is eating. Give a plaything to a child. You see it is complete, how harmonized, get involved in these playthings and forget about everything. So that is how, whenever the regimentation disappears, I call autopiloting. This is sarcastically mentioned to the disciplinarians. 50% of the population is self-torturing, regimenting. They people never let the body to use the body knowledge. They are always interfering, always walking fingers, always regimenting. So they are utterly suffering. They only experience the sour taste of the meditation. They do not know how to let it happen. So let goism is the technical term for autopilot. So it is not ignorance, it is not negligence, this utter vigilance. Let the body to walk. Let the body to brush teeth. Let the body to eat. And you take a step back and observe as if you are the third person. And then you can see it is completely streamlined. So we are just observing a DVD, uneditable form. Just observe. Don't worry it is a tragedy or comedy. You have no rights to measure. You are just observer. So when that is happening, we can say autopiloting. So when you all back at home, you unwantedly interfere with your family members, thinking it is my family, my children, my parents, but everything is a coincidence. And the monasteries also the same. People fork into the fingers, into the other psychologies, utter mess. Think I am the boss, I have to do this thing and that thing. And so much so, your family members will be very happy now because you fellows are here. They will be really, really at peace. They are happy because we have 10-day retreat. If it is 5 days, they feel sorry. 7 days, still sorry. If it is 10 days, all the nuisance are not at home. It is happening very nicely. It is autopiloting. Whenever you go there, you fork fingers, this one and that one. And so, yet another aesthetic interpretation is Taoism. Taoism is let the nature to run. You just observe. Let the sun to rise and see the beauty. Let the sun to set, see the beauty. See the twig happens and then it becomes green and ultimately become brown and falls. Just observe. See the flower happens, blooming and then drops. Everything perfect as far as you are not forking fingers. Your family is a mess because you are forking fingers. You are disturbing. So at the death, whole world, the world at peace, not the rest in peace, the dead person. The left of the world will be at peace. R.I.P. they say, they write. The human life is utterly messed, complicated due to this will. So very nicely put that Arthur Schopenhauer told, each will is evil. And then whole Western psychology sent asunder. And then Nietzsche came and he reiterated it. If anything you do, it's a mess. The Buddha says, Sabbe Sankhara Dukkha. Sankhara means your intentional work. Sabbe Sankhara Anicca. Whatever you do intentionally, willfully, Anicca and Dukkha. So try your best. Close your eyes, keep palm upon the another palm, and just let the breath to happen, and just see. Perfect. As far as you do meditation, messy. So in Satipasala we are teaching children, so we will give a gong, a bell sound, and ask the end of the bell sound. So when the children learn it, I am asking, what you have to do to see the end of the ringing sound? They look up and down, say, if anything you do, you are disturbing. Just listen and give a magic jar, mind jar, and ask them what you have to do to settle it down. Do nothing. This naturally settling. To miss it, you have to put both effort. So likewise, the teaching of the Buddha, some people put in the passive way, some people put it in the active way, but the early part it is active. You have to do, you have to advert the mind, you have to keep the object and the mind face to face. But once the familiarity happens, just let that happen. That is what in my way of presenting, that is what the autopilot.
Venerable Swamin Vahansa, I thought of reporting a couple of things that experienced during the last 24 hours. During walking meditation, I don't get a vivid sense of touch anymore. The touch of the choir mats feels smooth now. Even the roughest mat feels like this. I wondered if my mindfulness had weakened, but I can walk the full length of the mat and back most times with mindfulness. 2. Taste of food has also almost disappeared. Instead, the texture of the food is what gets my attention now. Please comment. Theruvan Saranai.
So whenever the mindfulness increases, everything appears the same. So you can be aware choicelessly. So before you define mindfulness as choiceless awareness, once you become mindful, all humans are the same. No male, female, no relatives and none, everyone is the same. And the materiality is just 4 elements. So you are not up to the 100%, but anyway you can see wherever you go only the same thing. So therefore why fight for the lion's share? Everywhere is the same. Why should I go first? Whenever you go it's the same. So therefore the tension, one-upmanship and winning the other person, everything becomes childish. When the time happens, things are happening. So therefore everything is the same. So the competition, the capitalistic system, utterly weakened. You become a human. You are not try to be a so-and-so. You just be human because it's a birthright. And you see whatever the mistake, whatever the credit other people have, still they are human. They never go beyond. Even he is a criminal or he's a Samaritan, exactly the same. Human. Rest of it, erasable, repairable, no permanent damage. So everywhere, so therefore it says whenever you become mindful, there is no something called foreign. Everywhere you go, you feel at home. Every person you meet, you feel like a relative. You don't feel antagonized, you don't feel envious, you don't feel poisonous. Even a serpent, they can't disturb you. Those things are the same. So that is what we represent as boredom. That's the one we tell is a monotonous. That's the one we feel that my taste, my specifications are no more. So ultimately life becomes very pale, colorless, eventless. So Buddha says, Nibbindati virajyati virajyam vimuttati vimuttumiti nānamti hoti. Nibbindati, your immediate sensuous gratification become weaker. then everything appears pale, not colorful. And then you get a distance. And you see, still the life is there, no much of burning immediacy, no much of one-upmanship kind of thing. And there you find you are not burning the candle from both the ends. Candle is upright and only 1 wick, durable. Otherwise you are burning the candle from both the ends because of choice, choosing. And that is what the multinational companies are telling you. Select this. This is the only thing. Don't go for others. This is our product. This is the best. So you don't know you are by looking at the advertisement, you go and select that particular thing, thinking multinational companies for your well-being. They are mercenaries. So therefore, accept anything happening. So it appears like something, the shape is disappearing, color is disappearing, eventfulness is disappearing. And in the Asiatic point of view, that is what you call the maturity. You are not rushing anything. No one can titillate you. No one can move you by a remote controller. You move according to the cause and effect. So the colorlessness happens. That is not in a negative sense. That indicates you cannot be motivated, or you cannot be diverted or lured by outside senses. You be patient. So let it happen very slowly. Even theoretically and deductively you understand, the internalization is a very slow process. So let that happen slowly. So appear like colorless, but you are free from dangers.
Most respected Bhante, 20 minutes sitting meditation before dana. Right from the start, an energy arises, manifesting as a wave, pressure, vibrations, starting in the head, then becoming a flow. This is familiar to me, but usually doesn't arise at the very beginning of a sitting. It is so strong that I don't bother about the primary object of rising and falling. I follow the flow, wandering around mainly in the head. Sometimes it seems to stop in one location, but still vibrating. Tension arises. I understand that the tension starts when I lose the proximity to the flow. Then also other objects become prominent. Open awareness, then flow again. I have the impression that the flow starts again when I don't concentrate on or grasp at the objects appearing in open awareness. But when I experience their endings, then the flow starts again, or it turns into a flow. When I can follow the flow closely, it is a pleasant, even funny journey, like on a boat moved by the floods. Then no thin slicing is necessary. I am just in time, so to say. When tension arises and I manage to thin slice it in time, early, other objects don't arise back to the flow. No boundaries perceived. Looking back onto my experience the last 2 days, I have the impression that it is right not to bother about the primary object, not even at the very beginning of a sitting, when open awareness or the flow present themselves so clearly. Maybe this is why calm didn't set in, neither body nor mind, when I focused maybe too long on raising and falling at the beginning of a sitting, while the vibrations of the flow help me to settle body and mind. Please comment and advise. Thank you very much.
So when you go to a seashore, the thin water, waves come, break, and one after the other. When you go to the halfway, waves are not breaking. When you look at the horizon, no event. So all the three are at a given time. So when the children go there, they play in the seashore, they see only the waves are breaking. But hardly they can entertain the waves are just in the middle. And they hate the horizon. The horizon is the most deepest point. So likewise that the way you look at the sea appear different. So flow is there at the horizon. And you know it is also waves are there, but it is 5 miles away. So you can't see it appear like a very flat. No boundaries going end. And when you look at one single wave, it comes, break and go. You can count the number of waves. But in the middle, you can't count. So it's a very dramatic example. And the Buddha present another one. He says when you go to the deep sea, ocean, the topmost layer is shaken by wind, frills and waves. And the lowermost part is shaken by the very big whales and different names of Buddha given, Pingala, Timingala, Maha Pingala, the big fish moving. Middle of the water never moves. So which one you recognize as the ocean? All the three, all the time available. So likewise your mind has the very shaken position, and the center, it is utterly at peace. You never appreciate it. You know only the two ends. It's waves. So that is dramatic. That is countable. That is stories. But in the center, you never even experience till your death. Even after the death you will never. So Buddha says, utter wastage of time. You don't know the human mind. You know only the reptilian mind or animal mind, which is the most dramatic and eventful. The human mind, the norm, the ideal position is the center, unshakable, just like the horizon. So when you go and look at the horizon, there's nothing dramatic. No use of going to the beach. When you go there, you see only the waves. So Sir Isaac Newton mentioned, I am a child playing at the seashore. I only see the little bit of water and little bit of the dry land, but I can't claim I see all the sea and all the dry land. The Buddha mentioned, the human, Deva, Brahma, whatever the experience, I have seen everything. Then only he is talking. So therefore, whenever we are interpreting something, it is we do by our narrow-minded, narrow idea. So that is why we are going to vehemently prove it. But by truth, it is not something provable. So you are very fighting to convince others because your narrow-mindedness. If something is very natural, nothing to prove. So likewise, you can see your mind, different things, but still you are yet to see who am I, yet to see the other parts. Unfortunately enough, majority of we hate, we have phobia, we have nauseatic feeling, so therefore we see only popular part, the dramatic part, other parts, we never experience it. So therefore, you have to accept both the sides in an equal sense, the dramatic part as well as the very calm area. They are fragments of your mind. So when you are living in a life, in a day-to-day life, some parts of your life is very dramatic, very involved, very complicated. Some parts of your life you are alone yourself and you can see solitude. So you can see how your action and reaction. Don't give any favoritism either to solitude or to the social life. They are happening. So when and where, see it is yet another facet, but not the totality. You have to keep on observing, then only you can see the totality. So sometimes mind see the system, like the horizon. Sometimes see one by one waves. Both of them are truths, but different dimensions. They are not contradictory. They are the same sea, thin water and the deep water. So therefore don't rush to a decision. Increase more and more observation, more feasibility, rather than planning. Before planning, have as much as information. So you will be a little patient, never rush to a decision, because you know you are not enough with information. So meditation is observation. Mindfulness is from the different, all the facets. So therefore, without rushing to a decision, keep on observing. And there you may find the whole total set of information is within you. Nothing to search outside. Whenever you go outside, you become eccentric. You miss the bus. Everything is to bewilder you. So give a certain amount of time for the bewilderment, never mind. And when and where time permits, come back and see. Your mind itself is like a deep ocean. Uppermost layer and the lowermost is vibrant, frills and thrills. But in the center, it is whether you enlighten or not, whether you are meditate or not, it is calm. But you don't know how to appreciate it. So therefore you won't get the benefit of it. The day you try to appreciate the calm, you have no chance to see the vibrations in both the ends because you are fully contented with the calm mind. So try to see the complete gamut, complete range. And naturally Buddha claimed, if you give a fair chance, mind naturally rests in the calm. Even Karl Marx says, human beings are naturally good. They are being conditioned by the society and that is why they do violation. So Isaac Newton says, if a thing is moving in the air, it is straight. Unless otherwise something come and hit, it's natural. So due to your rationalization, thinking, your analysis only you make the situation complicated. And even then if you know I am analyzing, harm is lesser. So don't promote it. Let the things to reveal. You are on the way.
Venerable Bhante, primary object, sitting meditation. After listening to you for the past few days, I am trying to appreciate all the positiveness of my practice and not be negative. Hence, I am not expecting anything miraculous to happen. I tell myself when it is time I will get it, as it is my birthright. What I would like to clarify is, whenever I find my knees don't hurt anymore, I find my back hurts. In sitting meditation, I see as if my spine is twisted and crooked, so I try to adjust my posture all the time. Also, when I am breathing, I can't see or focus on my left half of the face. Therefore, I feel as if I lose my balance due to my twisted spine and half a face. Please advise. Thank you.
So imagine if you happen you to change the posture or adjust the spine, see the breath before the adjustment and after the adjustment. Then you're always referring with the breath, referring with the mindfulness. So you can understand the changing took something good turn or bad turn. Otherwise you don't know you are doing and there is no sustainability. There is no consistency there is no accumulation of the experience. Always refer to the primary object or to the mindfulness before the adjustment and after the adjustment. Then you have something then. You can compare. But here there is no such an effort. Early part is good. Everything I am looking positive and I am not going for negative, that's okay. But do any change, no problem. But see what is the primary object before the change and after the change. This is the way you can see whether it is happening for the betterment or not. So therefore let that changes happen. It may be conscious changes or unconscious changes, never mind. Always see with respect to the norm, with respect to the primary object, with respect to the mindfulness. And if you know the art of writing with respect to the mindfulness, your mind is progressing. Otherwise, it's a disorganized life. That is what does it mean by disorganized life. You do all the changes, but no reference point, no pivotal point. So therefore, no consistency. So do. Even a mistake is changing on training you, if you have the norm, if you have the pivotal point. So pivotal point is not the Nibbana. But experience will be counted if the pivotal point is maintained, if the reference point is maintained, if the mindfulness is maintained, if the primary object is maintained, then accumulation happens.
Dear Bhante, I find that planning for the future is one of my main mental activities. Does this mean I should let go of any kind of future planning? Should I always be in the present, following my intuition? Theruvan Saranai.
So while doing future planning, see how often you can see the breath, how often you can see the sitting posture, how often you can see now I am thinking in the future, but thinking happen now. It's not happening in the future. Or thinking about the future, but in here now. So see while thinking the future, how often you can come back at home, how often you can be aware that you are sitting, how often you can see the in-breath and out, because in-breath and out-breath is immaterial whether you are thinking past or future, it is happening. Immaterial whether it is past or future, the living posture is, present posture is there. That is the pivotal point. That is what the Buddha says, first establish that and let the mind to play hell. Send the mind to send kites, no problem. And look at it from the different viewpoints. From the future thinking point of view, past thinking point of view, thinking others, other places, desirable, undesirable, and look back at the primary object. There you find the consistency is there. So therefore always refer your essay to the mindfulness. Refer to the primary object, then you are ever advancing. Even the mistake is teaching you. But the day till that you are learning this art, you are wasting time. In Sinhala we call Gangatini Kapanam. You do everything harvest and put into the river. You don't know where the river is going. So to have your garland, you must have a thread. Every flower you put into the same thread. As the thread is not broken, it becomes a garland. So therefore, let it be future thinking or past thinking or other places or otherwhere. Just refer back to your pivotal point. Then the consistency is there. Sustainability is there. Then onward it is ever progressing. Ever progressing. Whether you are in a gaining situation or lost regarding the materiality, but you are learning who am I.
This will be the last question, Venerable Sir. Most respected Bhante, which effect does it have on Petas if they are offered food? Does it affect negatively the place where the food is offered?
No, please repeat, I didn't get the point.
Most respected Bhante, I guess what effect does it have on Petas? If they are offered food, does it affect negatively the place where the food is offered? Thank you.
So you have to define what is the Peta. The person has to define, he or she, what does it mean by Peta. Different people have different meanings.
Hungry ghosts?
That is your definition. I am asking from the person who has written. I am not asking from the lawyer's point of view. I am asking the person who lodged the complaint. So what do you mean by Peta?
I did mean the hungry ghosts. I was told that one can kind of appease them or make them a little bit less hungry or less unhappy if they are offered food. And
now, what do you mean by, what is the definition of Peta for your understanding? Peta.
The beings that I cannot see.
So the Buddha says, don't worry about the unseen beings, first start with what is seen. So you are leaving the seen and going to do the unseen, that is the foolishness. Start with the verifiable thing, gross thing. Then one day, you may go to the unseen beings. So you also appear like a Peta then. Just see what is happening, what will happen to a food given to a being. Then very easy we can ask that particular person, you can eat and see. So why you are referring to the unknown? Oh, this is the mystic world. You are never happy with one which is touchable, what is verifiable, so you are thinking this and that. That is what you call the religion. Religion is always make something mystics. The Buddha says mystics are there, but first do with the realistic. That is, Pachakka Siddha, Anumana Siddha, Saddeya Siddha. Pachakka Siddha means direct under your nose. That is explainable. Second thing is deduced knowledge. Third one is you just believe. So Petas come under not direct experienceable, not deductive, it is just belief. So people can make a lot of stories. You will be carried away, you are just wasting your time. Just wasting time to be here and now. But Petas cannot be here and now. So whenever you come to a residential retreat, how much you are wasting time being in a retreat. Talking about unseen. We are talking about the bull you do not have. Water buffalo, you are talking about the water buffalo which you do not have. That is always the situation of the human mind. So Buddha says, to start with what is verifiable, what is direct, and that will lead slowly into death. The Saddeya Siddha, don't deny them, but mind your own business. Do what is possible, what is here and now, what is tangible. So when I was in Panitarama, there was a German nun, and we are planning big meditation center, and she come, and there was a German monk. He says, please get out. And she says, what harm by being here? Oh, she is there. One day she is asked, what is the distance from here to the first Devaloka? And what the distance from here to the distance from the second Devaloka? I feel sorry, then I told there are some books, and of course when I come back I will send you. Because Abhidhamma books are measuring all things, nonsense. So when I come back, of course, I had no chance to look at it. Then I wrote, I am sorry, this is not my interest, I am searching, that book is not available. Then she is writing, what an unfortunate being I am. The person who has information he is not interested in. I am searching for information, I don't have information. So this is the German nun, you Swiss, exactly the same. Exactly the same, talking about what is not possible, not seen. And you claim you are a yogi, you claim you are a vipassana yogi. Please be mindful and mind your own business.
Thank
Do
you.
you understand? Do you understand mind your own business?
Learning.
What do you mean?
Well, related to this question, I don't see the hungry
No,
spirit.
you had related to your question, you are a fool. Never mind, I am asking, mind your own business. What do you mean? Be mindful and mind your own business.
Is to watch my own state of mind. and
Your
my reactions.
your sitting posture, or breath, or left and the right, that is, it is verifiable. Definitely it will go to the deductive knowledge and to the, which is related to the faith. So these things, whole Sri Lankan Buddhism is utterly messed due to these things. People are talking. No one can give a conclusion. That's just wastage of time. But still there are some things you can conclude, you can measure, you can verify, but they are not boring, they are boring. They are very monotonous. And instead of talking about the Petas and Devas and Brahmas, so I don't know, I feel there was a negativity for that whenever such a question happened. Not that I am denying. The Buddha says, they are. But first when you are in a retreat, mind your own business. Even if you go back and ask again, I will say, mind your own business. Maybe I don't know. So without telling I don't know, I am just hitting you. Okay, 5 minutes more. Today we finished questions before due time. If anyone is making any statement or questions, otherwise we are going to take these 5 minutes for walking meditation.
Bhante talked earlier about letting things go into autopilot and just observe the eating, letting it happen, and the walking, letting it happen, and also the walking, the sitting, and not poking the fingers in it, and then it will not get messed up. And I see that happening more and more in my life, and it's very good for the mindfulness. The mindfulness is increasing, and just minding about my posture, and then things are happening, especially also when I'm talking to people. I'm just sitting and the talking is happening by itself, and good things are coming out that way. But I can feel that on some other areas it seems to be, not for me, not so good, but maybe for other people. Or, for example, when I'm sometimes listening to other people talk, then I'm just sitting and listening. I'm not interpreting anymore the sound or what they are saying. I'm just sitting there and watching my breath. So I'm not really listening to them. And then they feel that I don't listen to them, or that I don't understand them. And another thing, I've also come to realize it gets more difficult to read books, because I'm sitting and I'm reading, and then I fall again into the mindfulness, and I'm breathing, and and it's good, but it's just also in a certain way, it makes me useless for some things, I suppose.
So when I start in 1777, 78, and I try to be mindful while listening to lectures, I can't get to the content. I know I am listening, but I can't get the content. So I went there and reported Venerable Dhammika, telling Bhante, if I am to listen to the talk, thinking, listening, the content is not coming. Then he told, while talking and listening, don't try to be mindful, because it is something complicated. When you are doing physical, easier. So one person asked, when I was in Panditarama, Bhante, can someone be mindful while talking? Then he said, Pandita Sayadaw told, before the talk happens, Vitakka Vichara start at your mind, at the cursor, and then Vitakka Vichara may vibrate your sound box, and then the voice come into being. So while talking, you can be aware the vibration here. So it is disturbing. It is disturbing. And there's one very good speaker, monk. He can give a very practical sermons during the trouble time in the Sri Lankan history. And he says, he take the fan and delivering the sermon, 3 times he fall into sleep while talking. He says, no one will write my biography, because while speaking, while delivering a talk, all of a sudden you awake. So that is why I am writing autobiography. I just wanted to tell you I am such a dynamic person while delivering a talk. So I have been to political stages, and I can listen to the political leaders are talking, often I am sleeping. Because often I am invited to the stages, and while delivering a talk, you sleep. How many mechanical sleep kill people while driving? While driving they fall into sleep. All of a sudden again they wake into the road, sometimes smashed. So the mind is such a thing. So therefore such a tricky things at the beginning, don't take it as an exercise, just be aware. There are points I am not skillful, there I am not yet mastery, but you have to keep room for them. And when you keep on practicing wherever you can demand and command your mindfulness, spread it. Ultimately it is going and covering this mystic part of the mind. Always mystics are there. So, but we have to start with realistic, then only the progress happen. Otherwise, if you are going to consult the mystic parts, your realistic thing also will not be, it is also be staggering, it is not continuous. So therefore, at the beginning you have to understand, we start from the known place and continue. It's growing, so one day you may understand, while talking, I am not talking. So talking happens. Now, ultimately you have to take the responsibility. But if you are a meditator, you know you are talking bullshit. One day Rajneesh was giving a talk. You know Rajneesh? Osho? Yeah. While he was giving a talk, question and answer session, one person wrote a note telling you are talking bullshit. And note came to the Rajneesh. And it's signed by John. You are talking bullshit by John. So Rajneesh told, can please John stand up? Everyone is sitting. So John automatically got up, he says. And then asked, anyone appreciating John? No one. Then he told, John, you know, we two only know we are bullshit, others are all idiots. Only we two know it's bullshit. No one standing, only we two are standing. So these all talks and everything is epithet, it's an example. You have to take the crux of it. Don't go by word, don't go by letter. You have to get the idea. So often we are autopilot, we are automated by our directed dispositions. Natural, our underlying tendencies. Ultimately we claim it. I did it. So ultimately you go mad. But really it happened. I don't know whether I did it or not. I am sorry if I am disturbed you. Please forgive me. But tomorrow also the same thing happened. So don't assume like a teacher. Don't assume like a parents. Don't assume like a leader. Then you are an idiot. You have to tell this thing happened. Whenever the situation happens, things are happening. If you are going to claim it, you are claiming irresponsible things. Animals never claim. Trees never claim. So no problem. Only human beings, they claim. Claim what? Idiotness, foolishness. Am I answering you or am I messing you up?
Both, I think.
Both. So you have to keep this experimenting again and again how much I am doing willfully and how much things happening I am answerable and under control. How much autopiloting. And it says as far as the thoughts are concerned, more than 95% without a thinker. So if you are going to answer them, you are fool. Your thoughts are never with the thinker. It is happening. Ultimately you feel guilty, it's a bad thought and good thought and kind of thing. So just keep note and see, this machine is, I am not the owner, I can't feel it, I am not the executive. This house is used by someone. So you are just housekeeper. So you have to be very vigilant and see how much I should claim and worry about what is happening within that. But as far as it is disturbing others, you have to say, I'm sorry, intentionally or not intentionally, if I have disturbed you, please forgive me. But don't claim. Whenever you pass exam, don't think that you pass exam. Whenever you gain jhana, you don't claim that I got jhana. Whenever you have any achievement, you don't claim it. They are just happenings. So nothing to be proud about. Whenever you be at home, here now I am, unassuming. So my postgraduate director wrote me a character certificate telling that this character is unassuming. At that time I am not meditating. I don't know what is the meaning of unassuming at that time. Don't assume. Whatever you assume is sankhara. It will become a suffering. It becomes otherwise. So just things are happening. Ready?
Ready.
I think you have enough time. Not too old. Okay, we are now going to take time for walking meditation. 55 minutes for walking, and at 3 o'clock we will be meeting here again for a group sitting. Thank you very much for the participation.